fucking do it live.
Well, I'm gonna have to run in like 2 minutes.
Oh, that's even better. Because we're live.
Dude, your screen. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, no, I pinged red there.
Oh. Did you say we're live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, Dave. Do the intro. Go.
This is the Couch on Fire podcast. What up, guys?
I can't wait to assemble these into like a little montage.
Dude, I'm excited. Everyone that's been on this, even the lovely Sean Span.
Mr. Knocked up a groupie and tanked my fucking headliner band.
God! Why did you say that?
So I'm so we are live.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, back to the real world.
Oh man, I was just thinking. I was going through the grocery store and that shit jumped back into my head. I was like, dude said it live on Twitch for everyone to hear. I knocked up a groupie and killed my headliner band because of it. It blows my mind. I should have challenged him on it at the time, and I think that's a regret I have now. I'm good. So hey, Dave.
I actually listened to Either Breather too.
Oh my.
Like I'll tell you where my head was at. I wanted to get on the intercom in that Aldi's and be like, the lead singer from Either Breather killed the band because he knocked up a groupie.
You're the fucking worst. Oh my god.
All right. Well, okay.
I'm having a good time.
Welcome to the
Having
Couch
a
on Fire
good
podcast. Dude, so Dave, you're on this podcast. Welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, it took you long enough.
I'm waiting on y'all.
Oh.
Yeah, he was.
I was gonna say, you guys' schedule has been crazy, right? Like, you've had book after book after book. You got Elon Musk next week. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on, man?
Well,
No, he's actually here right now, smoking another
Oh, yeah?
oh my gosh.
You guys can't
Alex
see my
is-
sweatshirt.
So you're saying Alex is in rare form tonight? That's what's
Oh, I'm
happening.
in a zone.
So
Well,
at times like these, it's usually best to just kind of let him have his space and just
oh
run.
yeah. I'm just gonna keep going with it. He's gonna just scream profanity in the background, which we love.
Fuck!
Bot plug?
Dude,
Not spark plug.
so the people that are listening or the
Oh, we
people
don't
that are
care.
watching that don't know this, Alex and Dave are brothers. I mean, they don't look alike. They sure don't. Complete
Yeah.
opposite. Yeah. So if you don't know that, yes.
Yeah, if you can't tell from our equally ginormous Cro-Magnon brows.
I don't know. I feel like you guys had bigger heads in elementary school, and they slowly started shrinking back down to normal. Is that true?
The rest of our bodies grew into them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was gonna say, what do you... Come on.
But I love
I'm
Alex.
crazy.
I really do. But when I sat next to him in elementary school, I was like, man, this guy, he talks a lot, and he has a big dome.
An apple on a goddamn stick.
Well, you were like you're still a twig, but you were like a
I was
twig
gonna say,
twig.
not much has changed.
Yeah, not much has changed. So, but dude, I'm excited. I've always wanted to, I never really get to sit down with both you two and talk about you two. So I want to know
God.
lots of questions, and I want to know like what it's like growing up. I have two brothers, but they're like half brothers, and one's 10 years older than me, and one's 10 years younger than me. So I don't really talk.
Mike is 7 years younger than us. We're just now getting to hang out with him.
He's like 9.5 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big gap there.
Well, with you two though, were you guys
Mhm.
close?
Me and Alex?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Him and I have been pretty much inseparable since childhood. It's always been a love-hate thing. We've always beaten the shit out of each other. But we love each other to
It's
death.
time to fight. It's time to fight, you little bitch. Let's fucking go fight.
I'll fuck you up, dude.
Like legit, we ran this like basically it was a fight club.
Yeah,
My
it was
parents' house.
gladiatorial combat all through childhood.
Why? I mean, was it like over stupid shit, like that's my
Well-
toy, or that's like
A lot of it was us just competing with each other.
yeah.
Which totally
and-
wasn't seeded by mom at all.
Yeah, right.
A little competition's healthy. No, mom, you made us this way.
Yep.
You did.
So it was always through that lens, but we weren't able to see it. It's just he was being an asshole. Oh, he's being a dickhead. and back and forth, and we beat the shit out of each other, and then we shake hands and high five and walk away and go eat some like bologna sandwiches or something.
Yeah, you take out your aggression, you fucking solve the problem, you pick each other up, you buy each other a beer, you have a sandwich, and you move on with your fucking lives.
Well,
And as a kid, it was Kool-Aid and bologna sandwiches.
yeah.
Or
naturally,
the
yeah.
bottled brew that we had fucking cooking.
That was a couple years later.
Oh my gosh. Well, like, how did you guys? So you guys were close. So you were like your own little gang. How did you accept Mikey into it?
With headbutts.
So,
we lead with headbutts.
I mean, did you pick on him? Did you like? Because I remember,
He was immune.
like I said, I had a half brother older than me, 10 years older than me, and I remember him just pinching me and just trying to make me cry and be a dick.
I'll be right back, guys.
So like, how
He's
did
going to get his
you?
dinner.
Well, that's fine. So Alex, well, how did you like?
No, he was immune. And in fact, he would try to like come barreling in and like participate in what was occurring.
Yeah.
Like, namely the Fight Club's shit, and like, whoa, time, the kid's here. Let's get him safely somewhere else so we don't accidentally hurt him. And like posted him up, and then we'd continue.
Did you ever think that maybe he'd be left out? Like, do you ever think he felt left out? That's one question.
I'm quite positive that at the time he felt left out, but I'm also quite positive that now he's very grateful that he was.
Oh. So now,
Dave and I used to be a lot smarter than we were. Yeah. I mean, now. Weird time to have a speech tick. Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, like,
Fuck
well,
that
while
shit.
Dave,
God,
well,
that
while
was awful.
Dave's gone right now. So while he's gone, what are some things that you fucking hated that he did?
He told on me for everything to get himself out of trouble.
He's a rat. Oh,
Yeah.
snitches get stitches.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was the vast
man.
majority of like, we're gonna fucking fight, bitch. Like, that was it.
So like, well, there's a question. I'll wait till he gets back. 'Cause I want to hear his thing. That's crazy. I mean, was there anything that you think you did, or was it always physical?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of shit I did. One time I tried to shove a dirty sock in his fucking mouth. Like,
Well,
I'm sure
why?
he's gonna bring that up too. Watch.
Well, why? Why? We're placing bets, everyone. So please listen closely when Dave gets back. We're gonna.
No, this isn't a tontine at all.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about me while he's gone. Like, I think I envied having like close brothers. Like, I wanted one because it always seems the grass is always greener on the other side. For one, I mean, I know families that have brothers where they loved having a brother, but then I know families that have real quick, my ADHD just kicked in. Dave just put his food up to the screen because he wanted to show everyone that for the first time in his life, he actually made something look good.
I eat healthy. I eat healthy.
But no, like I was saying while he was gone, it's just more of like I always wanted to have close brothers, but I was actually blessed that I lived down the street in Joppatown with a whole bunch of guys. Like I lived across the street.
Yeah, I lived all over there.
So that was like the closest thing I had to brothers once I got older. But yeah. So, but Dave, while you were gone,
I was talking all sorts of shit.
Not maybe, I don't know. How bad when you guys fought physically? What was the worst physical fight that you guys got into? Like, how bad did you get into?
How many walls?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Do what?
How many walls did we throw each other through?
Too damn many to count.
God, you must have put your parents through like hell.
I am really good with spackle, by the way. Learned by experience. And believe me, if I did it wrong, we'd get hit.
The drop kick off the trampoline into the tree was a pretty big one.
Was that for fun, or were you guys just like?
No. Alex had gotten real irritated. I was acting like a douchebag that day.
Yeah.
Alex just got sick of it.
Yeah, and then he tried climbing back onto the trampoline, still talking shit, and I was like, I said just shut the fuck up, and booped him right on the button.
Mm-hmm.
He was no good.
I was already dazed and like out of it because like I hit a fucking tree.
Well,
It was a
damn.
5 foot distance. It was a good drop kick too.
Well, damn.
Yeah, no, like,
He made sure I
I
wasn't
don't-
concussed afterwards.
yeah, and like,
I
hi,
clearly
I'm-
was.
yeah. Was that 2 or 3 for you?
What? Concussions?
Yeah. Was that one number 2 or 3?
That was easy number 3. Or up. I'm up at like 7 or 8, dude.
That explains a lot.
So let's switch gears and talk about rocket science.
Rocket science. Oh. Well, so all right. So far we've been talking about you guys like fighting and just getting on each other's nerves.
Yep.
What have you done when you were younger? Because we're just talking about when you're younger for right now. What have you two did that like made you both like, wow, he actually loves me? Like what was something that you both did to each other at a young age? Not now, at a young age. Nothing. Just
couldn't-
straight comp.
No, it couldn't be any one thing. It was just accumulation of everything. We both knew that we loved each other because we were inseparable. We did everything together.
Okay.
I dug that fucking dart out of your head.
Mhm.
Checked you for tetanus every fucking night.
I dug the dart out of my head.
You pulled it out before I told you to.
I pulled it out on the way back down to the ground. All right, so here's the deal.
no, you stood up
Well,
and
you
it was
gotta-
still sitting there talking.
Wait a minute. We gotta talk about this story. Tell me
Here's
the
the deal.
story.
Yep. All right, so across the street diagonal from us was one of our buddies, Nicky Blunt. He had darts that he left outside, and
No, we found
We
those in
were
the
all-
fucking ground.
yeah,
We found
they were
those buried, dog.
outside. They had been there for a while. They were rusty, so we got layers of clothes on. We're throwing the darts at each other. Well,
Which is a
the,
great idea.
the match had ended, and we're done. We're not playing anymore because we didn't want to get jacked up and get tetanus from these rusty darts that we found lying outside. We didn't know where they came from. So I climb on top of this like shed, a nice sized shed, wooden shed, to go like aha and like joke around, acting like I was gonna peg him when I wasn't going to. And Rob List, you remember Rob,
Yeah.
threw the dart behind him
He just lobbed it.
blindly. He was just trying to hit the shed, not knowing that I was going up there, and it buries itself in the back of my head.
Oh man.
And I, whoa!
He had no idea, but we saw it moving, coming up over the crest of the ship.
Oh no, I felt it scrape my scalp, dude. I definitely knew.
So it was like the arrows in 300 when the arrows blocked out the sun. This
Yep.
dart
But
started
one.
coming over.
One rusty fucking dirt dart.
The darts will block out the sun.
So I jump down. Everybody's freaking out, and I'm just so pissed off. I throw the dart at Rob, and I start just drop kicking him over and over again. I'm like, "You got 8 more, motherfucker!" And I drop kick him again. That was an interesting day. So Alex had to check me a lot for tetanus. We didn't tell mom and dad about it until years later.
Oh. Well, see, so I mean, but that's what. So you took care of each other. That's
Oh, yeah.
basically what it was. You
Yeah.
beat each other up, and then 5 minutes later, you guys took care of each other.
Yep, always.
Was
Yeah.
there anything that you haven't told your parents that you would love to put on here, that one of you did and the other one covered for you?
No, we've pretty much fessed up to it all already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're completely open, and my parents were like, "Wow, you all are a bunch of fucking monsters," and we're like, "Yeah, we were."
Like, how did you guys? They're probably thinking, how did you guys live?
Dad's
Yes.
questioned that with me specifically a couple times.
Wow.
The reason I continued living is because of a very astute understanding of chemistry.
Oh,
Actually.
Oh my god. All right. Well, as adults, do you guys still fight? What happened? Like, did it change? When did it change? When was the switch when you were like, let's start being adults and stop fighting and fucking each other? Like, when did that happen?
What
was
right
that?
after
guys-
The enlistment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think we've had a fight since 09.
Yeah.
The only reason I remember the year is because that was the year we enlisted.
Okay. Did you support each other when you
Yeah,
were enlisting?
we were trying to stay with each other and do the
Oh,
like,
okay.
Buddy program.
yeah,
Yeah.
buddy program.
Well, I remember hanging out with you guys, and you guys were talking about enlisting in '09 because I was doing some crazy shit then. So,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah, you
remember
were.
that. And that's a whole nother day. um, but no, that's crazy. I didn't know if like you guys were
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
go together.
That was the last time we threw down at each other.
Yeah, Crystal was moving furniture out of the way for us.
Yeah,
Wow.
that big one.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about? Like, why?
That was another situation where David was talking too much shit, and I got sick of it.
No, that wasn't. That was building up for
Oh.
months.
Ooh. Last
That
fight,
one-
2019. Go.
No. That one had been building up for months. You're talking about the week prior where we were in the kitchen. That was something different. When we were out in the living room, we were both just ornery that day. Crystal was sick of both of us.
Yeah.
And you and I just ended up going to fisticuffs over it. But you and I had already been working out because we were getting ready to join the fucking military. So we were just slugging the shit out of each other, and our endurance was super fucking high. We were strong, and we were just beating the piss out of each other. And
I tagged you in the face that night.
yeah, that was the day you broke the golden rule. Him and I have always had a rule: we can fight. You don't hit him in the nuts. You don't hit him in the face. Those are
Mom
the
and Dad
only-
can see the face.
Well, this is the money maker and this is the baby maker. You can't,
Yeah,
Don't
we're
mess
not
with-
trying to fuck with your ability to procreate when you're older, and we're trying to not get found out doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alex tagged me in the face, and I immediately stopped and was like, and he was
And I
like,
was like,
"Oh shit,
Yeah, motherfucker!
No,
I done
you're
did
like-
it!
no." You got some historical lens issues there, buddy.
Okay. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Crystal attest to that one.
Well, I mean, it's awesome though. That was years ago. You're good
Pass
now.
that
I mean,
out.
that's
Jesus
10 years
fucking
ago.
Christ.
Yeah, we were kids.
Yeah. But now as adults, I mean, you find yourself like, are you guys still as close as you were, or not as much?
We hang out on Discord 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I'm over his house like once a week. Yeah.
Well, because like, I mean, I know brothers, they stay together, but it's just like, it's hard when people have two lives. You were across the country over here. He was across the world over here. So I'm sure it was kind of difficult for you guys to really stay
So
close.
we were close, but we ended up getting a rift because we were working on a venture together.
Yeah.
Just we kept talking past each other, and the time lapse and everything being through messages, we ended up pulling each other apart because we couldn't see what the other was trying to say,
Yeah.
and that's no good, right?
And that's
So we ended up-
no good.
Yeah.
Th-
So we ended
there's
up having a
another
huge
factor
rift
involved
between each
there.
other, and like even after I came back, it took a couple months to get out of that and work back into
Yeah.
okay, cool, we're around each other and not like sneering at each other from across the room.
Mhm.
There was a long-standing and open threat
Oh yeah.
from me to David. I was like,
Oh no,
I'll
that went
fucking-
both ways. Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
went
it
both-
was. I just didn't pay any attention to know.
Yeah.
Well, so I've heard about this, and I'm not going to ask too many questions about it. And I've heard about this. I'm that's glad that you guys brought it up. That's awesome because you know what that means. That shows that you've moved past that stupid shit, and now
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are 100% back to where you need to be, and I think that's awesome. So that's pretty cool. I wish I had brothers to fight with. God, I only have these friends that I grew up with, and I only talked to like 2 of them. Because the other ones all grew up, they all fucking left. Yeah.
I mean, it happens. Fucking
Yeah,
like we all grow up and start doing stuff, or hey, not in our parents' basements, as the case may
Yeah.
be. But to each their own,
But now as adults, you're the third brother, Mikey. Do you guys or Mike, because he's old now? Do you guys try to involve him in more things?
Oh yeah. No, we try to include him in everything.
Yeah.
Try
Like,
to.
what's he?
He lived with me for a while. Lived with Alex before that.
Yeah.
And whenever we have game nights or I make breakfast burritos and have people over, or Alex has everybody over, like Mike's always invited.
He's a little out of the loop,
Is
and he
he
likes to keep himself that way.
Well, I mean, it's a 9-year difference with you, and then it's like a 7-year difference with you. So it's
Well, he
like,
just likes keeping his distance.
okay,
Yeah.
Is it-
He's a hermit.
he's a lone wolf.
Yeah, he's a hermit.
That's great.
And he prefers it that way.
Yeah. Well, I might be soon.
What do you guys think are like the challenges of like growing up with a full house?
Not enough
Never
resources.
any Fucking
Not enough.
resources or privacy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the grass is always greener. I didn't have brothers and sisters growing up with me, and I've always wanted that. But then you talk to people that had 4 or 5 siblings, and they're just like, man, I'm tired of wearing hand-me-downs. I'm tired of not having enough fucking food. I'm tired of the first child gets yelled at the most. The middle child doesn't get that much. I mean, do you ever felt like, Dave? Did you ever?
That gradient existed.
Did it?
Yeah. Mike lucked out, and he's acknowledged that he's lucked out in a few facets.
Who, me or Mike?
Mike.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, you're the middle child. I mean, did you ever feel like?
No, I got the shit kicked out of me for all the mistakes that Alex didn't make that I did.
Okay.
I was watching what Alex was doing all the time, and if he got pounced on for something, I would take his plan and modify it.
So that he wouldn't get caught.
Yeah.
And to run the interference, he would snitch on me and then go execute his version of the plan.
That may have happened once or twice.
Execute order 45.
No, it fucking worked. Dude always ended up with the cookies.
True. Because after I snitched on him, whatever I ended up getting, I split with him.
Not all the time.
No,
You
not
did
all
a
the time.
bunch. Don't get me wrong. You did a bunch.
It's easy enough to say that as a general principle, I tried to stick to that.
That's fair.
Wow.
And that was obvious.
Would
So
you,
while it did suck for you, we ended up making out.
what? You guys made out? What?
Yeah.
What kind of family is this?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
Would you take, out of all your guys' experiences together, would you change anything?
Less Fight Club.
Less fighting?
That's my club. I wouldn't have made you shit yourself on Aztec Island.
Whoa. What?
I had explosive diarrhea. I sharted.
And Alex and I got into a fist fight, and I ended up wrapping Alex up and squeezing him until he popped. Quite literally.
Yeah, I sharted. I've still got a vivid image of those boxers in my head.
Oh my
I know
gosh.
exactly what they looked like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I made Alex shit himself.
Oh well. I've shit
That's
myself
just-
since. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Bad Mexican happens to everybody, right?
In fact, right now. So you guys you guys have the same hobbies, obviously, and you guys enjoy good podcasts because you both are on this one, and Alex helped me create this one. So,
Alex has hobbies that are his own. And I have
Yeah.
mine. Like, I like race car things, and Alex is like, that's stupid. But he likes programming, and I'm like,
That's fucking weird. Why would you like that?
yeah. Like, why would you want to code?
Yeah.
He enjoys it, so whatever.
well, the main question is, who's better at video games?
Depends on the game.
Yeah.
Who's better
entirely.
at Rocket League?
Alex.
I.
Damn, I was trying to stir the pot.
No, I'm fully aware. I have moments where I'm much better than Alex, but they are isolated moments. By and large, he is more consistent and consistently
Yeah.
one level above me all the time.
Well, what game or do you think that you excel that he doesn't in?
Halo, any flight sims, Star
PRG.
Citizen. Yeah, you're better at. Well, I mean, first-person shooter scenario.
Yeah.
And first-person shooters and flight sims are his bread and butter.
Yeah, big time.
I think we're
And
both
Star
pretty good at
Citizen.
Kerbal.
Yeah. Star Citizen, I set up dual joysticks.
Yeah.
T16,000s, Thrustmaster. Yeah, good stuff.
Hashtag not spawn.
right? So I set up dual joysticks, and your spawn point is this space station. So I go out and I call my ship to the port, and so I can go take off. So I get in my ship, and immediately within like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm weaving in and out of the actual space station at max speed, as fast as I can go, just shit whipping this thing around the space station. And I record it and send it to Alex, and Alex like, what the hell?
3 minutes out of practice, like.
Yeah. I'm like, I just loaded up the game, got my dual joysticks set up, and immediately just started shit whipping the damn thing, and was just
Ari lost her shit. I was like, no, this is about nominal for him. He's just good at that shit. He's the pilot for a reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like some people are just natural in certain, habitats, certain things, and that's just one of the things.
Yeah, flight and tactical situations, that's like where I'm always at.
Mm-hmm. When you guys were both in the military, did you guys like share like some good stories, some fun stories over there?
Oh yeah.
There was that weird guy in the banana suit in your dorms.
Wow.
I didn't have too much weird, just a lot of hijinks.
Yeah.
I had a lot of crazy.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the U.S. military. Let's talk about what you guys experienced.
Those kids should not be left without proper supervision.
But the supervision that exists within the structure as it currently stands is not proper supervision.
Because they weren't properly supervised.
Well,
it's because they were corporatized.
That's fair.
So
that's Air Force. That's Air Force. I can't speak to the other three. In fact, for anyone listening, I would absolutely suggest going Army if you're gonna go in.
Well, let's start from the beginning. So you guys enlisted. How was that? What was that like for both of you two? Like, what are the experiences, the emotions that you guys went through when they told you, all right, you leave this day?
All right, so Alex didn't leave the same time I did. We didn't end up doing the buddy program because Alex had too much caffeine the day before his MEPS testing,
They
which
thought
is
I
basically
had a heart murmur.
yeah, his medical processing. So he ended up getting pushed back like 6 months. So I go, BMT, very, very physical, very psychological. It's more mental because they have to break you down and build you back up the way they want.
Yeah.
So as long as you can see that
fucking retarded.
Well, if you can see it happening, you know the chess piece is moving on the board. You know the rules that they want you to get out of each of those things.
Incentivize you correctly. They could.
So,
they just
yes, they could. So for the guys that could see through the bullshit, they learned the lesson or ignored it and acted like they learned the lesson and skated on through. I learned the lesson and embodied most of it. There are certain things I just didn't want, so I ignored. But my MTI, my training instructor, pulled me aside and actually talked to me about it and said, like, hey, listen, like, I know that you know what the fuck's going on, but there's guys in here that are 33 and 34, and that's why you're not running the flight. I said, okay. I have no issues, none, with staying outside of the limelight. Like, if I can stay underneath the radar and just cruise through, I am good. Because if I'm up there and I make a mistake, that's a long way to fall. If I'm down here and I make a mistake, a lot shorter distance to fall.
Chow running was not fun. For the record.
Well, Alex, what did
you got used to the brass though?
Yeah.
Like how was the emotion for you when you finally actually gone? Like, how did you feel?
6 months later, a lot of release, honestly. And then there was that hype tension that they build up. I'm super susceptible to like social tension and shit. So that was unfun. But you go through, and at like week 6, they send you out into the fucking sticks it's like a pretend deployment for a week.
Yeah.
You go live in these pseudo hardened shelters and sleep on cots, and like I was in the scouts, so that was the easy part for me. But
oh yeah,
in the MREs, contained both candy and caffeine.
Those Skittles, though.
I wasn't worried about the candy. In fact, I traded all the candy I could to get more caffeine.
Figures.
And there was this weird disjointed narrative between like two camps of TI. Like you're supposed to have the candy and shit, or you're not, and give it all up. You're supposed to. We're like, no, like that's part of the nutritional value of the thing. It's specifically designed to give you the caloric intake to be able to handle these stresses and situations. It's been considered, let them fucking have it. And the other side was just, no, we don't want you to have nice things. Fuck you, that's why.
That's really all it was ego and dominance.
Yeah. So we managed to, like, in front of the right people, you could sneak some contraband through back to the barracks and shit. So I wound up with a supply of instant coffee packs that I would throw in like a dip.
Did you put them in the bedpost?
No, I had a different hidey hole, and it was in the latrine.
So in BNT, everyone's a smuggler, whether they want to admit it or not. Everyone in there is smuggling, whether it's peanut butter cups, peanut butter cups, Skittles, Starburst, or something, candy, caffeine, whatever the hell it was. Everyone hid something, and everyone had hiding spots. And usually the best spots were inside the bedposts because you had aluminum framed bunk beds with open
out
top.
if they got chucked, though. That was the problem with that idea.
No, because the ones in our barracks had black toppers on them. So if it
the
fell,
toppers could pop.
they never popped on us, and we had guys get their bed tipped.
Sister Flight, we never got any beds chucked or anything, but Sister Flight did.
Whoa,
Harry had to live through one of those.
So let me get this right. So they would literally like a jail cell come into your barracks and
raid your shit.
And just raid your shit
and
out
check
of
for
randomness,
contraband,
or
and then destroy everything you had to have set up a specific way and make you set it up again.
Which takes like 3 days to do.
If you're doing it,
Like your socks have to be specific.
Was it random, or was it like they got like I got a word.
Everything's being recorded. Everything's on audio and video. If they see anything, they're coming in and raiding your shit. You have to be hyper careful.
Well, what's the purpose of that? The show control?
Vigilance.
Like, to show that, okay.
It's
To break you of the idea that you're in control of your life.
Number one.
Oh.
Number two, it is, and for those on the more advanced tier there, it's you have to be extra vigilant 24 fucking hours a day. There is never a second you can let your fucking guard down because they will come for you and they will destroy you.
And with that is also the teamwork aspect. Because they know that you're going to steal candy. They know you're going to smuggle it. They know you're going to hide it. But how you work together to keep it from the TIs is half of the lesson. And my TI actually, no shit, opened the script. Because everything in BMT is scripted. Every single thing down to the letter. Emotionally break this type of kid. Emotionally destroy this kid. Say these things to this person to affect these people. He can take it. They're going to get skeeved out and they're going to change.
Are there like were there people like that broke? Like they 100% broke them?
Yeah.
What
Those guys
they
that try to commit suicide, everything, the whole bucket.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up.
Firewatch in the flight
I
that
got
came in
choked out.
the flight that came and babysat us, because there's a little thing where like week 2 you get babysat by an older flight, and our week 7 or 8 we go babysit baby flight and show them the ropes and pass the torch, as it were. So the flight that babysat us, we had a guy in that flight like fucking punch a fucking hard metal desk in hardened concrete off the fucking wall into the TI because he was so goddamn pissed about some shit. And like they got into each other's faces. It was that short, stocky fucking guy who had to get his sleeves altered to fit his fucking arms in there. And he picked this 6'6" motherfucker up off the ground one hand and was like, "I've eaten Article 15's bigger than you, motherfucker," and just set him down and like walked away.
That is one of the scariest moments of that dude's life.
I feel like people have this notion, like half the world thinks through this is hard, but then the other half's like, well, they can't touch me, they can just cuss at me all day long.
Yeah, those guys
Are
usually are
wrong.
the first ones to break. They're
'Cause they
always the
realize
first-
that they can.
Well, once
Well-
I mean, you sign a contract, you know, that no one
They're
probably
not-
reads.
they're not allowed to physically hit you. However, that doesn't mean that they don't. There's a
Can,
big thing.
They will,
back in
and there's a
2009.
specific process set up for when they do.
So legally now they're not supposed to. And back in 2009, they stopped doing that completely.
They were phasing it out.
Yes, and started
Process
actually
still
firing
existed.
TIs that still did it post time. I got choked by my dog tags against my locker. I was like, well, he wanted a specific result. I didn't give him the results he was looking for, so I was reprimanded. This is BMT. It is what it is.
3, 5, 7.
What?
So the guys that say you can't fucking touch me and they have this smug ass little look on their face are always the first ones to break because they get singled out so hard that the amount of shit that they take is in 1 week is worth what everyone else takes across all 8 weeks.
So you're saying it's
Because
just
other
best to-
TIs will get in on the action and
Everybody
they
jumps
don't
in.
have a moment of rest.
so
I
it's
had
just-
a guy swing on his TI, my TI. He got swung on and clipped, and my TI dropped him right there and right there on the button, and he was out.
I mean, like, so it's just best to kind of just stay in the middle,
Yeah.
unless you really do. Like, so what about the opposite way? What about the people that excelled in the class?
So
Don't.
the teachers-
Fucking
were they-
don't. Do not do this. I can
So-
speak from fucking experience. Don't ever think that you can do that in the Air Force. They will fucking find you and they'll kill you.
So what I did was I knew that I didn't want to stick out. So I calculated about what I needed to get wrong on most of these tests in order to place just shy of their purview of these guys think they're too good, let's break them.
Okay.
Because that's what happens.
Oh, okay.
So marksman, I got marksman by 1. My test, I got 89 to 91 on all of my exams. I could have easily just done away with it.
Yeah.
Our ASVAB scores, like Alex and I's ASVAB scores, don't even think about it. Like, we could have 100%ed all of those tests. But we were like,
No, you
no.
were. With the academic shit, I said no. I'm gonna fucking put out my best effort. Like, and
That's where you-
I didn't get targeted for that. I got ratted out once. Weirdly, we were getting smoked by a fucking blue rope TI who's like Big Dick's TI. And we're getting
He's
smoked.
like the shiny Pokemon.
Yeah, basically. And he's smoking this one fucking guy. He's like, who's the smartest fucking kid in your flight? And he's like, well, the academic monitor is so-and-so. That's not what the fuck I asked you. I said, who the fuck is the smartest guy in your goddamn flight? Airman Haskins. And I'm like,
You fucked
you
up, AA.
motherfucker! So I start getting smoked, and I fucking aced it. He just left me alone. He's like, all right. Just walked away.
Wow.
In BMT, I had a TI. We're all out on the drill pad. There's like 7 or 8 flights. We're all doing push-ups, exercises, marching,
Pushing the earth,
all sorts
beating
of
your
shit.
face.
Yeah. And it's black flag, which basically means that it's above 105 degrees, and we shouldn't be outside for more than 5 minutes. And
Legally.
we should not ever be doing physical activity outside during black flag. We all work. 7 flights, all of us out there in black flag, sweating our asses off. Like, people are falling out left and right. And one of the TIs gets lightheaded and trips and falls on his face because of this fucking heat. And I bust out laughing before I could stop myself from doing it. And that is the absolute last thing that you want to do in BMT is break composure. You keep your fucking bearings at all times. You have to remain stoic. And
There's just no way I could do that. There's just no
I
way.
busted out laughing when he tripped and fell. And I mean, like, it was uncontrollable laughter. and he made me push Texas while going ha 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 ha, and I had to have done like 250 push-ups right down the drill pad in front of all the other instructors. Every single flight marched back inside. Every single flight, every person. That's 50 people per flight, 7 flights, 350 people had to walk by me while I'm doing push-ups, going ha 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 ha.
There's just like, I don't know if I could keep my composure. Could I get my ass kicked all the time? Yeah, probably. I'm a big guy. I could probably take it. But I don't know if I can keep my composure. That'd be the thing that breaks me.
The bearing was a big thing, and it pursued after boot. It doesn't for most people, but like I did honor guard, so bearing became a thing for me again. One day I'm out on that drill pad, and we're doing the practice for the flag passing, because we do funerals and shit like that. That's what the purpose is.
Yeah.
And he receives the flag, and he looks me dead fuck in the eyes and goes, "It should have been you." I'm like, what did you just say that shit to me? What the fuck?
That's way worse than mine. Oh god.
Now, during my test to actually get my honor guard cookie, like, I bashed myself in the head with the M1. I didn't realize. I had no fucking idea I had done this. And he was like, "Are you fucking okay, dog?" Like, at the end of it, I'm still doing the motions and shit. Had no idea I had done it. And he's like, "Are you?" My first question is, "Are you physically okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You mashed yourself in the face of that M1." And he pulled
Your entire face is bloody.
I didn't bleed or anything, but he ended up showing me the footage later on because we had cameras in there, and I tagged myself real good right there. The fucking M1.
Wow.
No, what you have to say to me right now is thank you. Because the reason you didn't feel that was all those beatings you took as a kid.
Oh, it had nothing to do with fucking lacrosse or anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a combination of everything. So.
Yeah.
Plus just his own hard-headedness.
So you guys went through that. Afterwards, when it was all said and done, and you guys came home.
Yeah,
and
you
then
get
you went back
a little period of leave, and then they sent you on to tech school.
All right. How was tech school? You both went to tech school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to tech school for their individual jobs. That's where you have job training.
I didn't know. Okay, well, how was tech school, and what was your guys' jobs?
Fucking.
Like, I don't know these things. Tech school was whack. Was it just like a regular college, or was it like?
No, it's raptor fucked into this like accelerated learning environment. Plus, you have to march every fucking where you go, every time you're in fucking uniform. You're getting marched by fucking mouth breathers who don't know how to march a goddamn flight. We got marched into a fucking flight of Navy kids. Like, into.
We got marched into a tree and a building at the same time.
Fucking.
They're not moving. They're just static objects.
You think they do it on purpose?
No, it's just other idiots in our flight. They're not like supervision or anything else. They're our peers that are marching us, and they're a bunch of fucking mouth breathers and end up marching us into the wrong thing because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I ended up taking command of one of the flights one day because this fool could not figure it out.
I straight up fucking looked at her as we're marching through the fucking Navy flight. I was like, "You're the reason men still beat their wives." I fucking dead ass that shit too. I was dead ass serious. I still feel that way. Fuck that person. I can't even remember her fucking giraffe neck ass name. Fuck her. Top tart ass motherfucker.
Well, if you're a fan of Couch on Fire podcast, please don't take that personal.
No shit, right?
Right as I pick up we're getting hosted now. Dreadnought started hosting us right as I.
Perfect. That's awesome.
So, Alex didn't have a great time in tech school because his job was kind of dumb.
What was his job?
It's what I do now. It's calibrations.
Oh, okay.
Kind of dumb.
Yeah. What about you?
Fucking, we're the reason we know how to measure shit, motherfucker. It's the smartest. It is the primary science. Go fuck yourself.
I was kidding.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh.
So what I did in the military is I was a crew on F-15s.
Monkey wrench turning ass.
Right. I'm a gearhead on fighter jets.
Okay.
The jet is mine. My name is on the side of it. I work on it. I keep it up to snuff. I launch the pilots out. The guys you see marshaling out and
Yeah.
like in T-Rex outfits. And all.
And
That's Freestyle Friday. We always did that.
like in Top Gun. Go, go, Goose, go!
No, so have you ever seen guys do like the rodeo dance, like on a runway while they're launching with cones in their hands and shit?
Oh, yeah.
That's Freestyle Friday.
Okay. Did you choose this job? Did you both choose this job, or was this handed to you?
I was trying to be a crew chief as well, but because they thought I had a heart murmur, sent me to Walter Reed 3 fucking times. It delayed my slot, and somebody else picked up that slot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I signed a contract saying open maintenance. I was like, give me the first maintenance fucking job you can find.
Or else you would have been waiting for another 3 months.
Okay.
Well, I could have picked up some admin or comm or some bullshit like that and left sooner, but I didn't want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
So I fucking it's known as PMEL in the Air Force and military, Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And the crew chief recruiter at the time, my third recruiter already, was like, I don't know what the fuck it is either. I was a fucking crew chief, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck they did. I know we gave them our torque wrenches. And that's how everybody knows us. We're the torque wrench people.
Yep.
We fixed the fucking torque wrenches.
I can attest to that as a crew chief.
So if you didn't do the job that you did, what job would you guys want to do? If you can go back and just pick any job.
Space Systems Operations.
Fuck Space Command. Fuck
No,
them.
I want to be in SPACOM because there's black hat projects that you can get if you excel in your coursework to where you're actually out there working on the launch sites, actually working on the rockets, which is exactly what
and that's
do
a
and
fucking nightmare.
Well, that's why I chose to be the crew chief. I was trying to do linear progression, work on fighter jets, then rockets, and then spacecraft. So that was my logical progression was if I could have gotten into Space Command, that would have saved me my first step. But this was good for the maintenance and physics side.
Okay.
Fucking Space Com. So I got stationed out at Holloman, New Mexico. It's the place that Marvel Comics jokes about sending fucking test projects. It's because that's where the Trinity site was. The first nukes ever detonated were right up the road.
Yeah.
It's a big tourist attraction.
Yeah.
I had the fucking Space Monkey farm there on base, and especially hot summer days out there in the desert, you could hear them screaming.
Yeah. Ugh.
It was fucking fuck Spacecom.
Oh my god. I would if I would join today, I would definitely be in the Space Force. I'm just saying. Go on.
I support the Space Force. I don't support Trump's idea of it, but we do need a space military. It should be run by the UN, though. Period.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it
UN
should be
Space
the whole
Marines.
world.
I'm sorry.
A whole world thing, not like a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
USM.
Okay, so one of the questions, I know it's getting a little bit later, but I'm dying to know this. So okay, so you guys joined. You did your thing. You guys left. How hard is it now? Being just when you a lot of people don't hard for you to get things after
What do you mean to get things?
I'm not get things I'm saying okay, so you're in the military, you do your time, you do whatever, you get out of the military. It seems like it's just been so hard for people
to reintegrate.
Yeah, to just not just that. I mean, even if you didn't see action, just surviving, getting a regular job. How hard is it getting a regular job? How hard is it doing something that you did in the military?
It's easy as fuck for me.
I was gonna say that really depends on what you do and how well you plan and market yourself after you get out. Planning 6 months in advance, if I get out at this time, 6 months in advance, I need to be planning, truly planning, what my next steps are, what my actions are, what my resume looks like, and they have services on base to help everybody with that. The mandatory course that they send you through sucks, and that's what Alex was getting ready to say was TAPS blows. Yes, it does. I completely 100% agree. But there are other add-ons like Boots to Business that were really fun and engaging and gave me a lot of information about starting a business as a veteran and what resources are available to me as a veteran.
Well, do you think going in, picking your job, do you think about that? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this job because in 4 years when I'm out of this, because if you're not a lifer,
A lot of people
I'm
do.
out of this.
That's
Do you,
why
like-
that's why I didn't go Navy SEAL.
Okay.
'Cause I
A
was
lot
gonna
of
use-
people go through that.
I love you, Dave. I just don't see you as a Navy SEAL.
I was actually trying to transition over to PJ there for a little while because you end up with your EMT license.
Really?
And I was like, well, yeah, I'll
I don't
fucking
know.
be an
I mean,
EMT.
honestly, I guess if you were in it, maybe I could see it. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't. Nothing against you. I'm sure you can do it. It's just more of like, from knowing you, how you were as a child, and just going up. But I just don't know. But then again,
I see that.
Yeah, talking to you now after because I haven't really spoke to Dave for like 10 years prior to this.
Close.
And yeah, and like just talking to you now, you've matured so much, and obviously Alex has matured so much as well. So it's just kind of crazy how just going through that boot camp and all that other stuff, and it kind of changes you as a person.
Oh yeah. And there's
Yeah.
SEALs that are all goofy bastards and like short little assholes, and so it's really the
Drawing dick butts on each other's faces while they're sleeping.
yeah, like it's more about can you mentally push yourself through the physical components of the training? If yes, you stand a chance. If you mentally break, you're done. Period.
My question mark was the simulated drowning. Period.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I've almost drowned a couple times in my life, so like, fuck
So-
that.
You do have to go through something like that.
Yeah. So in
Do
after
you remember
get
that
through
Discovery Channel thing where they watch a couple flights go through the various PJs or Spec Ops schools? That aired right as after David left for boot camp, but before I went. I ended up meeting one of the guys, not in it, but he was like, "Oh yeah, no, that guy's a fucking douche. Fuck that guy. He had all the peanut butter cups. He got found out. What a schmuck."
Well, like I know, I remember,
Shout out, Lewis.
I know, like I mean, I hear that you got to be in a room with tear gas. You got to experience all these things.
Tear gas is
Stuff.
boot camp. That was easy.
yeah,
That's
every,
easy. It's just
Yeah.
the water. The water is the scariest.
well,
The
that's
simulated
only if
drowning.
you're in like rescue diving, PJ, SEER, and SEALs. They all have to actually be legally drowned in order to pass their training because they have to know what it feels like. They bring you back, but obviously, or
I
else
don't
we
know.
would SEAls.
I think I can do that. If I know that you're gonna bring me back, like I know I like.
It's
what movie
hard.
was that?
It's
No,
hard to let go, man. You
I
freak.
cannot
People
let
freak
go
out,
like
lose.
that.
They lose their minds.
I can't let go like that. I cannot
Dude.
allow someone else to have that kind of control over whether I live or die.
I think people have PTSD. Not even about like going overseas to war. I mean, people could just do this just by what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, from
probably,
the schools.
I'm not saying certain people are weak, but I'm saying
No,
like
objectively,
yeah.
objectively, certain people are mentally weak. It's a spectrum, just
Well,
like physical.
Well, there's
It's
that,
about-
but like not everybody who goes through that is in that position. It's just so much stimulus that it does break a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I got that Article 15, that first one.
Yeah.
The commander looked me dead fucking in the face and said, "I'm not sending your package through." I'm like, I've got a waiver from them. I'm not sending your package through, which is apparently totally illegal. But fuck it. I'm really happy that didn't happen.
Well, at this point, the government owns you. So they can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want.
There's lines. Everybody has regulations governing their actions and what they can and can't do.
To keep everybody safe.
So the big question is, you regret doing it? Both of you?
No way.
Going through that whole process, being, 'cause you guys were, after flight school, you guys were stationed somewhere, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Do you regret any of that?
Nope.
Oh fuck, dude! I had such a hard run. I don't regret that I went through all that, but it it was not a good run for me. Like, and my biochemistry was irreparably altered. My mood was irreparably altered. I ended up getting into some fucking really sketchy hijinks. I witnessed an attempted murder down in El Paso. Like,
I did murder.
well, no, yours is accidental. Fuck off. You accidentally got a guy to choke on a fucking dip. And yeah, he died, but you fucking brought him back. Fuck off. That's not a pink 22 coming out and firing into a fucking apartment building. At the guy point blank. That's not the same thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's crazy that, you both are brothers, you grew up together, you both went on this path, but you experienced something totally different than he experienced something totally different. And it's just crazy because, like, that happens. Like, you proved your point earlier, like you were saying that people, 5 people can go in the boot, but 3 of those people will survive, and the other one's just okay, but then later are fucked up. I'm not saying you are, I'm just...
Well, I was fucked up for a while.
So, out of 5 people, 1 may physically break and have an injury in BMT. 1 may mentally break at his first deployment. Another one may have attitude adjustment problems, like he can't deal with authority, and may wash out completely from that, just like the physical guy. But then you have 3 left. 1 who's about to break when he goes on deployment, and then 2 that are either semi or fully successful. And it's a total crapshoot. Alex and I went within 6 months of each other, went into the same generalized field, maintenance.
Yeah.
And had absolutely 180-degree changes. Now, granted, I had things that absolutely sucked. People that abused power, people trying to get kicked out, people that were physically injuring me, or making my personal injury worse. I had a disc pushing halfway through my spinal column. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because they didn't do an MRI because of stupid-ass procedures with medical. They wouldn't do an MRI to figure out what was wrong with me. So I was on a waiver and told light duty, you're not to lift anything more than this, you're not to bend over, you're not to be scrubbing floors, and despite me having that piece of paper signed by a colonel, medical orders telling me not to do things, they still forced me to go down and scrub floors, and I was at PT and lifting 100-pound parts above my head. So all that stuff sucked. But I tried to ignore that for the betterment of, I had this $54 million piece of military combat asset that I'm responsible for. And it's a miracle that this thing can go Mach 2. And when that pilot comes out, my eyes light up. And I go, it's game time. And his life is in my hands until he gets back down on the ground safely. And the hard work and effort that I put into my job directly results in whether or not that pilot gets to make it back home to his family. And that's a pretty rewarding experience. Plus, fighter jets are badass. And doing it in Japan was a lot of fun.
Yeah, David had some really sweet stations. He was down in North Carolina first, and then he had Okinawa. I had
North Carolina sucked.
Fuck off, you were stateside.
It was Goldsboro.
It was a shitty part of North Carolina, but it was North Carolina. It wasn't New Mexico. In southern New Mexico, because like Santa Fe was
Goldsboro's
delightful.
the ghetto that's like 2 hours from Greenville and 1 hour from Raleigh. Yeah.
It is the shitty part, yeah.
Quite literally, there's pig farms right next to the base.
I had so I was one of those shooting stars, and had gotten pulled on twice. 2 Article 15s almost back to back, and they were like, and this was in an era of the Air Force, and this persists to this day. 1 Article 15 will tank a career.
Yep.
And how many did Dad get? Like 7?
No.
No, you could get NJPs fucking like candy back in the day, and if you did demote, they'd fucking hand it back to you the next day. It was a totally different era.
For the listeners out there, Article 15 is?
The UCMJ Uniform Code of Military Justice. They tag. they tagged me and didn't take me to court. Commander, fuck you.
So there's
I got
slaps
2
on
of
the
those.
wrist, like letters of reprimand and letters of counsel, and those
Yeah.
are like they go in your PIF, and it's like you showed up to work late. You get an LOC. It happens again within a month, you get an LOR. But if it happens 4 more times, they can give you non-judicial punishment, and that is in Article 15. At that point,
Yeah,
you can
it's
lose
it's
your
like
rank,
extra
you can
duty
career.
shit, whatever.
Well, yeah. If you
Yeah.
lose rank, you lose money.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
There
I
is
had
no
gotten,
extra
I tested early for staff because I had signed on, sewed on E4 early. So E5, I got my line number that day. I was handed the paperwork saying, "Oh, you're A1C again."
You lost 2 ranks in the same day.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
That fucking sucked. I still want to get 12991 tatted on the back of my fucking neck. And I forgive you on my saluting hand. No, I didn't have a problem with authority at all. So, that one busted me down a rank, and I was like, fuck it, whatever. I can make it back. And they were like, you're a good fucking troop. Clearly, you were a 3-year staff. You can make it through this. You can make it through this. Other people wouldn't survive this, but you can. We know that. So I get hit with another one real quick. Real fuck quick.
Too quick.
Yeah. And the first one was on some bullshit. And
Second one.
I was straight up losing sleep over the first one and, like, overslept. So I show up into work late. I didn't get the cop knock, nothing, and I'm like, you know what? All right, fuck it. And my RO is like, yo, dude, like, we're keeping this in flight, blah, blah, blah. My pen was going to the paper on the LOR that was going to sit in his desk. And he gets the phone call. Get him in his blues, get him over to the commander's office. Fuck!
And if he had signed that before that happened, they couldn't have given him an article for that because he had already signed an LOR.
Yep,
It would've been
because
double
I would have
jeopardy.
already been punished for it.
Do you like? How many years did it take for you to not stop thinking about that?
He
Like,
still thinks about it.
It's not a big deal now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is a contextually appropriate conversation to bring it up in. It doesn't come up all the fucking time anymore. I'll make a passing joke like, A15, and move on, but
Well,
it took
you
about
gotta-
6 years to get past that.
well, but you got to think like, look at your life now. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine if that didn't happen, where would you have been? Like, just imagine these things. Everything could change.
Well,
all
I
by-
know for a couple facts, actually, of what would have happened.
He'd have been a lifer.
Would you?
I would have been, yeah, I would have been.
Okay.
That was the plan, in fact. So I get the second one, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I give up. I don't even care. You guys clearly don't want me here. I don't want to be here. I'd like to just go home and, like, reevaluate what the fuck I've been doing. And they were like, oh, good, you learned your fucking lesson. You can stay. And I was like, no, send me home, please. And they were like, no, you can stay. And I was like, fuck!
They
So,
literally just wanted him to be miserable. They wanted to see the Titan fall. He was a shooting star, and one dude who caught an attitude because he didn't like Alex's demeanor or whatever it was, caught a dude and said, I'm gonna tank his career. And set
and
out to do it.
Sergeant Butler, motherfuck that guy.
Him and the giraffe lady can go fuck themselves, right?
Yes. And I will carry those grudges until I die.
I had Richmond and Whitley.
So I proceed on. I collect orders to Korea. I get declined on those. Not a big deal, whatever. And I can get another set later. I get 2 sets at the same time. One for Tyndall and one for Korea.
I wish
I-
I had gone to.
See, that's one of the ones I know for a fact. Tyndall is still fucked They're still living in tents. They still have plumbing problems. Everything is fucked there. If I'd have followed the 22 over there with my buddies in LO, I'd still be living in a fucking tent. Or on base housing, but, like, I wouldn't have plumbing.
You'd been base housing. But I went to Tyndall. I was there. It was fucking blasty blast.
Yeah, it was great right until that hurricane hit this year.
Yeah. But that's also 10 years later. You would.
No, that's within the window.
Yeah.
It's not 10 years later. This is 10 years since we enlisted, dog.
Yeah, I know.
Like, following the 22 like that, I'd have been stuck with that group of 22s for life. There just weren't enough 22s to go around.
Yeah.
Unless I went back to a PMEL, and come to find out as I'm exiting, they were opening up a PMEL there. So I was fucking, like, extra pissed about that, but I'm so glad I didn't go. So they shredded those orders on the spot. And the orders to Korea, they declined again on bullshit. So I was like, you know what? If you guys are going to decline this third opportunity for me to get the fuck out of this base specifically, yeah. I'm going home. And I pushed the button and went home.
Yep.
Thankfully, I had a better management team at that point, and they supported me.
Well, after going through that, and Dave, dealing with like your shoulder injury, and then just boot camp period, just going through both of you going through all that shit. What would you guys change? Like, if you were in charge of the U.S. military, what would you change? Or would you just leave it as it is and see if it's...
Oh, I dissolved the Air Force immediately. First thing, if I was in Mattis's position, or Mattis's former position, I dissolved the Air Force and glom it back into the Army. Period. Dot. I actually have a better structure idea in my head than what currently exists, but that's a big, long conversation, and, like, there's a whole series of policy debates that go into that. So not here, not now.
Yeah, that question is way too loaded to answer, because after politics and I was working with colonels, generals, and everybody all day long, there's a lot that needs changing.
Well,
But first step is dissolve the Air Force. Period.
I mean, for the listeners out there that are still listening and stuff, I just didn't know if, like, if someone's actually like 17 or 18 and they're thinking about joining the military.
Go Army.
You would go Army.
Go Army.
Hold on. I don't agree with that statement.
You cannot agree with it. That's my position through and through.
Yeah.
Go Army.
Well, Dave, what would you tell them? What's the advice that you would give them?
It really depends on what they want to do. If they know what they want to do long term, like for a career, that may not necessarily be military, and there's a job for it in the Army or the Air Force, that's great. Hook it up. At that point, explore both options and see. I'm a huge advocate of joining the Air Force because a lot has changed since you and I have been in. And I know you had a terrible experience.
Not in the way that it needs to prevent what happened to me.
I understand that, and that is very specific to you. I know tons of guys that were hugely successful, had a great time, and some of them are still in, some of them are not, and still having a blasty blast. Jeff being amongst them. So yeah, no, and the officer program, while I don't like how they treat officers in the military and how much they silver spoon them, it's a great opportunity for individual people to do, because your quality of life in the military will be, oh my god, so sweet. There's a lot of hoops that you're gonna have to jump through, but considering enlisted perspective to officer perspective, your quality of life is gonna be so much better. And you have a lot better prospects after you get out.
I would like to explain my Go Army position.
Sure.
Period.
In a smaller form, right? Because I know you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I say Go Army for the simple fact that the vast plethora of opportunities, the biggest quantity of possible opportunities exist within the Army. Period.
Okay.
Dot. If you don't like your command, you don't like your station, you don't like your anything, you can get a fucking waiver. Or you can ask for orders. Or you could do whatever the fuck you want to do. All you got to do is talk to your commander, and they'll set you up. If they like you, obviously. But provided that there are still courses in egress that you can take to get the fuck out of those situations.
There is more fluidity, but it's also more strict on the reg.
No, it's not. No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
How many dirtbag soldiers do you know? I was stationed next to Fort Bliss
That's
for 4 fucking years. Like,
Reg.
Well, so
and he was a badass. Didn't mean he wasn't a dirtbag by the regs, but he was a fucking badass.
Okay.
basically, in a nutshell, if you plan on joining any type of military, you should plan for the long term. I mean, that's basically.
It's
what you have to
literally
say.
a 4 or 6 year contract. So yeah,
Yeah.
plan
So,
long term.
Think if you're gonna do this for a life, then think about what do you want to do. And
Well,
then if you're,
even if you plan to do it for life, still have an exit strategy because shit happens all the time and
Oh, yeah.
it ends your career. But before you join, you should consider: do I want to stay in for 4 or 6, or do a lifer? What do I want to do after, and how do I set myself up best for that?
I started calling around as the second set of orders was declined. Like before I was even, I had that packet of paperwork across commander's desk saying I want to go home. I was already making phone calls. My first phone call though, they were like, "Yeah, when can you come in and interview?" I was like, "I'm still in. What the fuck?" They're like, "Oh, when do you get out?" I'm like, I actually don't know yet. I just put it in that paperwork." And they were like, "Word, call us when you get out." And I did. So here I am. I'm still with Tektronix.
dude, so basically, you two fighting each other when you were young prepared you for the military.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely
It's the
saying
only
that.
reason I got through that shit, dog.
I feel like in today's world, kids are just growing up softer. No offense. When I say softer too, I don't mean like not as tough, but they definitely don't. I mean, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a whole other argument.
No,
too,
yeah, that's a whole
yeah.
big culture
Yeah.
conversation.
But it's just one of those things where I think because you guys were so close, but also so competitive and aggressive, it made you, I mean, in the end, you guys made it through boot camp, went to tech schools, and did something. You both made money in the military, so technically, I guess that's successful.
I made a lot less than I should have. The second Article 15 had half pay.
Well, listen. Yeah, listen. Stop getting written up.
No, you're not my supervisor.
That's why he got written up.
That's
I'm
not
glad
why.
you could joke- I'm glad you could joke about it, just like the whole Sean Span thing, because you got written up, and then you were dreaming about being written up, and then you got written up because you were late about getting written up.
Yeah,
That's
No.
a spider web right there.
yeah, no, that was an apocalypse.
But I do agree, Rob, that a lot of our competitiveness as a kid set us up best long term.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
There's some
We-
downsides to it, but it gave us a lot of strength.
It allowed us to make it through and survive what we did.
And I'm gonna take words right out of Alex's mouth. That'd be a good note to end this podcast.
Yeah. We're at an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15
My
minutes.
camera fucking died, and I'm shooting into Discord rather than OBS now. I can't fix that live
It's
because I
okay.
gotta disattach the camera. It's a pain in the ass. Whatever.
It was actually nice. It was nice to see your face.
True.
That's all it is. Even though
Okay.
Me?
if it came down to it, I would say Dave might be a little bit more attractive, but
Hey, girl.
Okay, we're gonna end it. Bam.
Hey!
Oh,
It was good
gross.
fun, though. I'm glad.